Hey there. I was recording, the previous video where I was talking about the licensing options. We went through the options. There's 7 of them. The way you could license, pricing models slash licensing models. So the way you could potentially integrate Snowpal APIs. At the end of it, I want to say a couple of more things, but where I intended to stop sharing, I actually hit stop recording. So, I'm just doing a follow-up video here. This is video number 2. So just please make sure you watch the previous one, which is 1 of 2, before you actually get to this video. That way you get context to it. But just to quickly recap what we discussed in the previous one, I'm still sharing my screen here. We discussed the options that you have available. There are like 7 different options. You can purchase, you can subscribe to the APIs and pay per request. That was option number 1. You can pay by subscription, monthly or annual, which is option number 2. You can pay by subscription, like a monthly or annual subscription, and have options for overages. So additional requests, much like your phone plans. That's option number 3. Option number 4 was, you telling us, hey, you know what, we are fine, but we just want to be able to use our own databases, not yours, meaning not something that's part of your infrastructure. That's something we can provision, make available. So we essentially, the request flows through our systems, but we actually write data to your database. That's option number 4. Option number 5 is provisioning everything we have, but in your cloud infrastructure, whether it's AWS, Google Cloud, or Azure, we can do that for you. That's option number 5. Option number 6 is you purchasing a license for the API or for more than one API and having your DevOps team manage this entirely. So once you purchase the API, we will be out of the picture. You just come back to us when you need help with the upgrade licenses or the support licenses. So you get newer drops, but otherwise you manage this entirely. So, and the license is good to perpetuity. Option number 7 is you're like, hey, you know what, these 6 options are great, but we want something different from all of them. Maybe they're slightly different. Maybe what you want is quite different. That's totally fine. We can work with you to create a private offer. So these are the 7 options we have on the table. So I think that's, let me stop sharing the screen and continue the recording. Just to, we recap that really quickly, but let me share the gist of why we have these options available. Now, depending on where you're at as a company, right? Our intent here and our experience also has been working with companies of all sizes, starting with solopreneurs, somebody who some folks who have either have been working in the industry for a long time or just getting started in their careers. Does not matter. They have an idea. They want to put that make that a reality. Create those thoughts and thought processes and convert them into actions and actionable items and have something built as simple. It could be a weekend's worth of work or a week's worth of work that you want to showcase to somebody to get some money. Maybe you're bootstrap funded, maybe you're going to family and friends to get money, or you're trying to get funding from VCs. Whatever it is that you're doing, you want to build something quickly. Doing all of it is going to take a lot more time, and maybe you or your team has all of the skills or some of those skills. In those cases, you integrate APIs, build them really quickly. Our APIs serve as fundamental building blocks, and they're super affordable in those cases. You can just pay by request. Other cases, there are people, there are companies or startups, but have funding or have a fair bit of money. They make some revenue. They want to expand their applications, or they have an MVP, but they want to take it forward. And sometimes the MVPs do not seamlessly convert to actual production systems. So then in that case, you build it, but build only the pieces you need to rebuild and use our APIs for the rest of it. That's one scenario. Or you could be a company that's been in production, you've been in business for a while. You're building newer applications or microservices or a new mobile app or a web app, and now you don't want to spend, either you don't have a backend team because you had an outsourced team that built something for you and they're not engaged in the project anymore, or you have a backend team or two or many, but they are busy solving other problems and they have other bigger fish to fry. So you don't want to take them off of those engagements, even though they're internal. In those cases, you start leveraging our APIs, so you can again go reduce time to market and see it go live a whole lot sooner. Whether it's an entirely new application, new service, or if it's an extension, a new feature, or maybe even an enhancement to what you're doing. You could still, take a slightly different architectural approach in the interest of scalability and extensibility, and not have to worry about maintaining it yourself. Or you actually, again, are a much larger organization. You want to actually continue what you're doing, but expand your services, and your turnaround times are not as quick as you want for them to be in 2024. I mean, in the world of APIs and API first strategies and OpenAI and generative AI, you want to do things very differently from how you did it in previous years. Even if you're doing the exact same thing, you should approach the problems differently, because the solutions have to end up being slightly different. That's the basic expectation. And you don't want to go against the tide there, and there's no value in doing that either. So in those cases, hit us up, see if one of these options work for you. If they don't, option 7 is us creating a private offer, and we are more than happy to work with you in making that happen. In the subsequent videos, we'll talk about things outside the licensing and the pricing models, and seeing how you can use each of these APIs independently, how you can use them collectively, and so on and so forth. I think that's basically it for this second video, 2 of 2. Again, if you haven't watched the previous one, watch it so you get context as the second API. We're just going to call it licensing models 1 of 2 and 2 of 2. That's about it. Thank you. Bye-bye.